Hello friends, good morning. So let's see what to read in the Indian Express newspaper today. So on the very front page we have Quad related news, important from the perspective of GS2 India-US relations. At the same time, multilateral organizations are often asked GS2 important. So go through both these news. The statement is important. India-US trade talk related news is there. These corn, ethanol, soybean, dairy. Note down some data points important from the perspective of prelims particularly. In a first, government directs of office of ministers to clear all files. Important note down from the perspective of good governance. Saturday classes, home lessons, how Mizoram became first fully literate state, important from the perspective of prelims as well as mains GS2. On page 6 directly we have PM arriving in Ghana. So note down some points here, important from the perspective of GS2. At the same time, from the perspective of prelims, mapping is important. India-US defense related news, again important from the perspective of GS2. Gross forest law violations, important from the perspective of particularly GS3. Environment, note down the case study. Dalai Lama related news is there. India-China relations, GS2 related, important. Again on page 8 we have these two health related very important news. Note down just headlines. India's first phase 3 dengue vaccine. At the same time, another important news is government finding no link between COVID and heart related deaths. COVID vaccine particularly. Note down those two newses. Particularly on page number 9 we have Kashmir just saw hottest June. So note down just case study or example here. You can utilize such examples in your particularly GS3 environment related answers. Knowing what exactly is AI web crawlers, important from the perspective of particularly prelims. On the editorial page now we have this important editorial by Arun Prakash, important from the perspective of particularly defense. Kill the bill. This particular analysis here addresses the recent bill in Karnataka, what are its repercussions, etc. No impunity, again important from the perspective of corruption and politics, governance relations. Particularly on page 16 now, world page, we have Iran related news. Go through that briefly. Another important news is first income tax in Persian Gulf, important from the perspective of particularly prelims as well as mains as well as essay to certain extent. On the economy page we have first household consumption expenditure survey. Note down some data points. PSB dividend related news is there. Note down that as well. India's motor vehicle aggregator guidelines 2025, important. These two news are related to that. Just note down some data points here, important from the perspective of prelims. Particularly on the explain page now, AI and cooperate, again important from the perspective of mainly mains. Dalai Lama related analysis, important from the perspective of prelims as well as GS2. Punjab's land pooling policy, important from the perspective of mains. SC to decide caste certificate related guidelines, whether they are discriminatory or not. So note down that as well and stay tuned for daily news analysis. Thank you.